darling viewers, it's Jen here at Checkerjoy, and this time I'm reviewing The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime by Mark Haddon. This book focuses on Christopher, who is a autistic teenager in Britain, and he is trying to solve the mystery of what happened to one of his neighbor's dogs that ended up murdered with a pitchfork in his side. Christopher loves mysteries, and so he's all about trying to solve this one. So this isn't your typical novel. It's told from the perspective of Christopher, and we definitely get a look inside his head and how he thinks and what he notices in the world, and how he feels about things, which I loved. Christopher doesn't understand human emotions. Like, he's really great with animals. Animals are simple. He loves dogs and cats, and he has a pet rat named Toby. But when it comes to humans, he doesn't quite get it. He has trouble reading facial expressions. He wishes people would just flat out tell him what they're thinking and feeling. That would make life so much easier. Christopher also can't stand being touched. That's another one of his things. He can go into like sensory overload because he notices and feels everything. Like, if he goes into a room, he will spot all the details. So some things like touching just completely, like, his brain can't process everything, so instead he just shuts down and doesn't process anything. Christopher is really smart though. He has like this excellent memory where he remembers all the details of where he's been and what he's noticed. He can remember every country in the world and all their capitals, and he's really good at remembering prime numbers, and actually is really good at math and science. He wants to go to school either to study math or physics or both, and his main dream in life is to be an astronaut, so he can go out into space. So part of this book is the mystery of what happened to the dog and Christopher trying to solve it. But I think another part of this book is the fact that Christopher is autistic and how he experiences the world, which was more interesting to me than trying to find out what happened to the dog. Although I still wanted to know. Because he's autistic, Christopher kind of ends up being an unreliable narrator, just by the basis that he doesn't always catch everything. Because he's so bad at reading people, he doesn't always see all the clues around him. This book definitely had some surprises, especially when it came to characters and backstories and stuff that I didn't necessarily see at first glance, but it all felt like organic. Like, the basis is laid there for these big revelations that end up happening. One minor thing about this book is that there is a pretty massive spoiler in here for the Sherlock Holmes story, The Hound of the Baskervilles by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Christopher's just talking about why he loves mystery so much, and so he chooses that book to talk through all the clues and what clues were obvious to him and how that makes sense, and it would have spoiled the book if you hadn't read it already, so fair warning on that, I guess. But basically, I enjoyed this book. I found it entertaining and light and interesting and funny, and I like Christopher as a character and as a narrator, and I think it works, and it's definitely different from other books that I've read. It's definitely worth checking out if you guys are even possibly inclined to read it. Like, you should. It did take me a bit to fall into Christopher's narrating. Like, it felt a bit strange at first, but the further I got into the book, I'm like, okay, cool. I totally recommend this book, The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime by Mark Haddon. Peace out. I love you guys, and keep reading. Bye.